September 10th, I'm going to admit that I'm basically mentally and physically exhausted, pissed off at everything, and just is what it is. But today, a guy named Charlie was shot and killed. That's the big news of the day. I engaged with multiple people on both sides of the perspective towards him as a person. I'm pretty upset at anybody who's taking the opportunity of his death to make a political point. I'm not saying that there isn't a political point to be made, but if you got something to say to somebody or about somebody, say it while they're alive. Don't be opportunistic about something like that. The guy just died. He left behind a wife and kids. Apparently, he said something while he was alive about how empathy is a made-up term. And if you disagree with that, show some empathy. This is not an opportunity to cut somebody down. And I'm not saying he was right about everything he believed in. I'm not saying he was right about anything he believed in. But don't take the opportunity of someone's death to say stuff about them. So that's the first thing. And that's actually really wearing on me, because that's beyond just, this job or whatever's going on in my life right now. That's our whole attitude as a country. And it's becoming very ugly and apparent that this lack of compassion for anybody from the other side is a massive problem right now on both sides of the political spectrum, and it becomes really hard to hide that in your response to something like this. And obviously people who liked him aren't gonna cut him down right now, but I see you too. I see you cutting other people down. I see you having no compassion, no empathy for people on the other side of the political spectrum. So just because it's someone you like, and so you have only positive things to say about him, doesn't mean you aren't guilty. Doesn't mean I'm not guilty either. And that's probably another thing that I'm angry about. I see myself getting heated and engaged with people I don't know on Facebook. And it's not that I don't have something good to say, but why am I cutting people down? Why am I using sarcasm and other things like that to make my points? These are people that I'm talking to. We're all people. Our political beliefs, though they may differ, are not as ugly as the meme machines on Facebook make them out to be. The opinions of people on both sides, all sides, are actively being distorted and promoted in a distorted form or out of context to foment anger and opposition and profit, and it's not okay. If you got something to say about somebody's opinion, go ahead and say it, but be respectful. Besides that, I'm basically physically sick. I started feeling sick as of sometime last night. That probably affects me more than I'd like to admit, but part of this is just I feel physically sick, and I don't like that any more than anybody else does. I'm sitting in my vehicle driving, feeling just that I can't stand driving anymore. Can't stand another minute of being in that position and of driving. I'm stopped here about 20 minutes away from the rest area that I actually plan to stop at. Supposedly it's 80 degrees outside. I feel cold. I'm almost shivering. I do not feel well. That was happening before this stressful news and the stressful responses that I saw from people. So that wasn't the cause, but it hasn't made it better. The cause is the physical demand. I got basically 1.5 hours of sleep on the first night on the road because of the issues that started happening with the truck, as well as the fact that I thought I broke my rib, and I went into the ER because that's, I thought, what you're supposed to do when you're on the road and you don't have your primary physician available and you need quick treatment for something that could be, depending on who you ask, an emergency. And then when I pulled up my insurance information, I said, don't give me the x-ray. I have a $7,500 copay. And then after that, I still pay 50% of the emergency room visit. I'm not going to purposely, knowingly get myself into that much debt, though it's not like it really matters right now. But I don't like to accept a service that I'm not really planning to pay for. And if I took that x-ray, like, that's such a low priority to pay for that. And there is a sign that says you're legally entitled to be evaluated for an emergency medical need. You're legally entitled to be treated to the best of their ability or appropriately transported to another facility to the best of